Why is 40k so compelling? I'm a geeky girl who grew up with superheroes and warriors, stories of true virtue and common sense. Being genuine to yourself always was something I respected and appreciated in life and fiction. I was and I always am precise in what I want and what is worthy of my admiration. One day I discovered the universe of Warhammer 40k and stared in awe. I wondered how I never heard of it before. My journey was set and I tried to dive in and learn as much as possible about this very new to me and very unique galaxy. But this was not a place of virtue. This was not a story about heroes, let alone superheroes. On face value, Warhammer 40k was quite the opposite. First, it was the darkest universe I ever seen. Then it was the most desperate. Then it looked the most hopeless, which shifted to the most evil. By all accounts, it seemed that 40k should be the opposite of what I would like or even love. Despite all of this, I did love it. Not only that, but to me, this world was it. The X factor I was subconsciously looking for all my life. How does this make any sense? Let's start with the fact that 40k is a very layered place, where not everything is what it seems. Goodness is not something that you can easily see here, although in the core of 40k, creation, which is a good force, is still the initial impulse of existing, so it's development. A lot of characters do possess good qualities that keep them in line, at least when it comes to how far they should or shouldn't go with their actions. Keeping honor and integrity, not falling into complete depravity, keep loyalty and common sense in mind. The old ones wanted to create first and foremost. Surely in 40k things are written as such that not many parallels can be drawn between it and our real world. So context always matters the most. The equivalent of how we see the impulse of creation, as well as many other things, has its own spin in 40k. But inspiration from our real world in each writing endeavor to be included in a fictional universe is always present to some extent. Thus in Warhammer 40,000 there are some positive sides, some positive characteristics of some characters that make them unique and different. There are no good guys in 40k? Sure, there aren't, by the ways we understand it in the most simple sense. But when we look at the Emperor of Mankind and his Primarchs, Astartes legions, Astra Militarum and so on, in each warrior we can see some principles: valor, honor, loyalty, genuine belief, genuine respect for life and for the imperium. Are those tarnished by the Emperor's commands? His ways of doing things? Yes and no. We are yet to learn more about the Emperor as a character, but mostly what was recently revealed from the last Horus Heresy books, The End and the Death volumes 1, 2, 3. The Emperor is a man who makes mistakes. He wants the best for humanity, but he is not afraid to hurt anyone and even humanity itself to achieve it. He seems to have a cynical look at humanity. The Emperor doesn't try to change people for the better, to show them a better way of being as one person and many, but instead rules them with an iron fist and forces his ideology onto them by showing them only one way of getting things done, and that is through mostly violence. He has many faces and many positive and negative qualities. He's a mystery like no other, and he's also what I myself identify with, at least the ideal of what he could have been on the inside if he nurtured his good qualities. Wait, did I hear you say? But Gary, does this mean that you want to literally become the Empress of Mankind? Ha! Of course not in a literal sense, in a much more higher and inner sense. A true growth to the throne of your own self-rule, to the benefit of others. what the emperor could have been if mostly his good qualities were developed and not the negative. I also have a vision of how things would turn out if he were to do everything right. The drive to become the best version of yourself, but by doing so also become useful to others, be of service, be of help, show compassion, understanding, and true open-mindedness. Help in all areas that you can, but also preserve yourself and still grow so you can become even better and even more useful to others, and by doing so give a better example of growth and strength in body, mind and soul. Then balance that out with not taking BS from anyone if such is objectively identified. Ultimately, the emperor achieved what no one had achieved before. That is one of the things that I appreciate about him. His golden armor and magnificence represent his majesty of accomplishment and levels that are incomprehensible to most. He is still unique, the one and only individual of his kind. The Primarchs, in that case, are an extension of him. Tree branches that keep their hold on their own but still do so because of the qualities given by their emperor father. They represent individual qualities of the source, some more pure than others, like Sanguinius, some more loose and wild, like Angron, some are more dogmatic and fanatic, like Rogar, some are more egotistical and driven, like Horus, some are more stoic and regal, like Guilliman, and some more mysterious and hidden, like Corvax. Some are more damaged and darkened, like Curse, some more stable and stern, like Dorn, and so on. Each Primarch holds his unique personality traits, positive and negative characteristics of a greater whole. Then there are their own sons, the Astartes, who have the characteristics of their Primarchs, and to a source extension, their emperor. All of this structure and chain of creation is fascinating, coming from the emperor's desire to create and structure the world. Of course, this doesn't mean that he is going to use the impulse of creating for good alone, quite the opposite. But it does mean that within him the intentions are good, the means are not the most morally sound or positive. Although his methods are flawed, he at least was driven by true principles and always for the greater good of humanity. His Primarchs have real virtues and a real understanding of honor and respect. Some decided to nurture these qualities, some decided to forsake them. But in any case, these qualities are a part of the emperor, and he bestowed them on his sons. To add what he sent to the sky in the form of the Star Child during the final stages of the Horus heresy were in fact the good qualities: love, compassion, and care, meant to someday merge with him again so he can become whole, proving that the emperor definitely has true positives that he needs to choose to grow later if he is to return and start all over. Let's take a look at the other factions in the world of 40k. The Necrons are Egyptian inspired with a tragic story of naivete, desperation, and ego. Technologically advanced more than anyone, but yet spiritually deprived behind everyone. What they truly seek are their souls, their essence back, who they were and really are. Some of them might have other intentions or reason for doing things, but the bottom line is that all of the Necrons' actions are driven by the lack of their very soul. The Eldar, a race that developed exponentially to the point where they fell from grace from the highest place, having no measure of balance and losing touch with objectivity and common sense, filled with arrogance and losing their grip of their own selves. The Orcs, being a destructive power that multiplies on its own, are meant to keep all the other universe inhabitants on their toes, never caring for anyone's pretensions or status. The Tyranids, going even beyond the destruction of the Orcs. The Tyranids not even acknowledging chaos and trying to exist off of anyone and anything by just being destructive, parasitic, and the ultimate force of annihilation. They can be the evil for which everyone unites to destroy. The Tyranids can be the reason for unity and mutual understanding to an extent in the 40k. Who knows? The point being that these are all amazing in their own way, interesting, and they can all teach a lesson of some sort. Chaos is also there to show us the extent of our thoughts, feelings, and actions. How we don't take them seriously until they start becoming more real than the observable reality itself and come back to torment us with full force. And how their lingering existence is a constant reminder of our lack of true consciousness. This all gives depth and color to the Warhammer 40k universe. Of course, everything is created for the tabletop, for the player, for the money. But if substance and quality can be found in any piece of art and creation, it does have a true value for the soul. 40k is also cool. So cool in fact that when I first saw the astartes from the Sayama Peterson project, I was hooked, and it was love at first sight. What are these huge dudes in huge armor that move so fast and so smooth like butter and kill in the most badass way? Yes, some of them won't survive, but they sure will give their all and stay true to themselves before that happens. And that is how it started. I saw a genuine piece of art with genuine passion and love behind it. And it was love that made it possible. That was what won me over. The Warhammer 40k universe is deep in every way, with many levels where you can find more meaning. Characters big and small. But they all show that love and peace are what we all need to be fighting for. Real soul progression and intelligence. 40k showing us what not to do and what we could do with the inner qualities, the love and respect that we still hold inside. How we can make the right choices by showing us the wrong ones. How we can build negativity so far to the point where it manifests itself in some shape or form and it haunts us and we let it define us. Where it could be the opposite. The astartes, the Astra Militarum, whoever, all of them, they fight with their heart and soul, although they're fighting for someone that is also a tyrant in their own way. Why are they keep doing this? Is it just because they're conditioned to do it? Well, from one side, yes, but from another, their drive, it comes from their genuine love and care for what they're doing, for something that is greater than them. They're fighting for the genuine essence of their souls and for the genuine essence of all the other people's souls. So it's kind of like manipulating something that is extremely genuine in each and every one of us to make us do something that is not exactly morally just or correct. So they have to reach deep down within themselves when they have to fight and kill in order for them to find the strength, the drive to actually do it. So everything goes down back to true love and essence within the soul. That essence is directed in a twisted way, and that is something to think about. It could be the opposite. In the far future of the 40k universe, there's only war because everyone failed to develop true consciousness and work harder for goodness. That is why the Warhammer 40k universe is compelling and can speak to everyone in pointing out our deepest potential or already established flaws. Subconsciously, we see ourselves in all the struggles and all the raging battles. Let's win the war within ourselves so we can help others do the same for the greater good of the individual and humanity as a whole. The 40k Empress.